Sanity Seekers, thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to make a cupboard for Lethal Company, a coat rack for Lethal Company, and the two portals and the little buttons for the portals to make them work. So thank you for joining me. I hope you have fun, and let's get into the videos. We're starting off with the red cupboard, the all-important red cupboard that houses the torches and the radios and all that good stuff that the little explorers need to find all their goodies. I'm starting off with basically making a shallow box, which will be the outer shell of the cupboard. I've cut the size, I've scored it, and I need to cut out the little corners so I can fold it nice and neatly. I need to measure up exactly as I can a square, so I can make the doors. So a nice square that's exactly the same shape as the back there, and then I'll lop it in half and we'll have a set of doors as well. Hope you're all enjoying my morning voice. It's a little bit sexy. You're welcome. And now we have some cupboard doors. So I'll just make sure that's all fairly lining up and looking pretty sweet. Bit of glue and a rubber band, and we can set that side to dry and work on the shelves. No, I'm wrong. We're going to work on the shelves first. This was a little while ago that I'd filmed this, so I cannot believe how much editing has been involved in these, because let me just tell you, when I made it just how I would normally make it. So I'd make that bit, make that bit, make that bit, and then I would like paint that bit, paint that bit, paint that bit, and then I'd do the details, and all my filming is just all over the shop. So I caused myself a ton of extra work. But that's okay, because that's a learning lesson, right? So you know, you live and learn. Okay, so made the box, glued it, putting in the shelves, got the rubber band around it to hold it together, and I'm going to make some little supports to hold the shelves in place for extra strength, not that you actually need it. And also it makes it look a little bit extra industrial, which was pretty cool. Give it a little score. If you're not aware of what scoring is, it's just where you cut the very top of something, not all the way through, so that you can bend it easy and accurately. I'm using tacky glue basically throughout this whole project. It's my favourite glue. Dries quick. It holds it while it's drying, and it's clear. So I'll give that little guy a bend and pop it into place. My chubby fingers are way too big for it, so get a little helper in, which in this case is a piece of cardboard. Alright. Making sure that everything fits and is looking pretty good. I gave it a coat of acrylic paint, and then I tried to make it look metallic, which turned out dumb, so I'm going over it again with an acrylic pen. So it's got a few layers, so it looks nice and real. Here's a word from future Tanya. So I managed to lose that little file that showed you the next step. Let me demonstrate again. With a bit of cardboard, I put a little piece of wire, excellent, you can see that, into the cardboard, and another piece of cardboard into the wire on the other side to attach, and then I bent it to have the doors open. So that's what I did with the doors on the cupboard, and I glued it too. So these little guys, I did start off trying to make very realistic and just like the ones in the game, which was a complete failure and it looked dumb, and so I scrapped that after a while and went with this instead. What I'm using is some bead tubes. Yeah, we have clear tubes around if you look hard enough. There'd be something around the house, right? And this tape was new, so I wanted to use this, and I thought it looked good, but later on I changed my mind. But yeah, that will also be in the video. So I'm just giving it basically a top and a base and the rods that go down, the 4 equal rods around the machine. In hindsight, I did think to myself that it would be cool to put like a glowy something or other in the center, like a glow in the dark type something. But you know, hindsight's 20/20. So I've got my top, base, the rods, and it's pretty simple really. Now it looks a hell of a lot better than what I started off with. It was a shocker. And I'm just going to paint the top and the base, which I don't end up using, but the tops have to be silver. Okay, so I managed to not film making these, despite having it lined up and everything. But essentially, I didn't like how this looked, so I put washi tape over it. Now I'm happy with it. And I made a second one because this one brings you back and that one takes you out there. And I put some electrical tape around it and coloured it in with Sharpie pen. So yeah, forgot to hit record. Top work. Thank you, future Tanya, for that announcement. Now we're going to make the buttons for the portals. It's very, very simple. It's just a piece of cardboard scored into three equal parts. A little piece of cardboard just to give it a bit extra detail for where the buttons go. I'm using sticky gems, one yellow, one red, and you know the little packets that your tablets come in, the little blister packs? I found a couple of those that were really small and fit well, and cleaned them up and everything and glued that over the top for the glass covers. And they look really, really cool, very effective. I do wish they'd come up just a little bit better in the filming though. And when I've got it all together, I use a 3D pen to melt in some cables along the floor there. And that also looked really cool. Now for the coat rack. I did try to do this really ultra similar to what's in the game, but it was unstable and I just couldn't get it right. So this is what I went with. I wanted a nice stable base, which was the biggest problem, was the base. So I've made a base, made some holes, I whittled the ends just to get it right in there of the poles. Glued them in, glued in a top, and painted it. With the paint, I'm using the acrylic ink, the silver acrylic ink, which is like one of my most favourite things, and I love it. And nice hint, if you want to keep your fingers reasonably clean, get a pencil or a piece of wood or something like that, or a wire, to hold it in place while you paint so it doesn't move around on you. I've got to make some coat hangers, making like a funky S there with some pliers, make a stack of those, and I found that the electrical tape has a really good finish on it because it looks all rubbery, and I'm using that to make the impression of suits to hang up. With a little bit of fabric or tissue, I'm using tissue, just to pad it out so it doesn't look like a flat piece of something. And I'll fold it over, seal it, and pop the coat hanger in. And then I'll give it some detail. I think if I were going to do that again, I might try drawing it on rather than cutting it out and shaping it that way. I think drawing would actually be pretty cool. And you can just use a Sharpie pen. But this time I'm cutting out pieces to make them into pants. I'm putting a jacket over the top of this one, and when I line it up on the rack, I'll just put the more detailed, the better looking pieces on the outside where you see it, and the more generic pieces in the center. Once I've got it on the rack, I'll just squeeze the tops a little bit and glue it so it doesn't pop off on me once it's in the ship. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. Does the job. I'm Tanya from Out of the Blue Artistry. Thank you for joining me. Please like and subscribe and comment and do all that cool stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.